Because we live in a patriarchal society, women are thought of as victims and men are thought of as perpetrators. That also means that when women are accused of war crimes, they are less likely to face trial. I'm Izabela Steflja, and I'm assistant professor at the Department of Political Science. For the last 10 years, I've been researching justice processes after conflict in Bosnia, Serbia, and Rwanda. And while I conducted my interviews, I came across a lot of women who had extreme views. And that was surprising because what I had read in the scholarship before I went to do my fieldwork was that the war was largely a men's war. So I was very surprised to find these women who were extreme nationalists, and I had the chance to interview some who were serving life sentences in the Kigali prison in Rwanda for organizing the genocide. In general, in society, we have formed these two archetypes of how we think of perpetrators and how we think of victims. And we have placed women in the victim category and we have placed men in the perpetrator category. And we've had a very hard time as a society breaking down that binary. The intersection of these identities that we see in society is also reflected in the courtroom. The kind of biases that we see in society, we can also see in legal processes as well. Society's biases affect the defense in each case, and also the judgments is what we find. So we see gendered defenses, meaning that gender stereotypes are used by defense teams in order to get better treatment, shorter sentences for these women. And we find that they work quite well most of the time. We looked at a lot of cases where women were granted refugee status and even American citizenship because it was assumed that they were victims of the war that they were coming from. And later on, we would discover that they actually would be extradited for trial in Bosnia, for example. I hope that the book helps people break down the binary of victim versus perpetrator, that we are able to complexify that for our readers so that they can see a woman as potentially a victim of patriarchal society, but at the same time an agent of violence, and so that we can recognize women's agency, even if that means recognizing that they're capable of extreme violence.